What's going on YouTube? My name's Eric Young and welcome back to another tutorial on Element 3D and Cinema 4D. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make this GUI logo inside of Element 3D with just a little bit of Cinema 4D as well. So let's get started. Now if you watch my cloth tutorial, I'm going to cheat like I did in my cloth tutorial and leave this Goo Plane open so that I can get the settings off of it properly. And I'll also include just this Goo Plane, just this red plane, as a download in the description. So if you want, you can just go ahead and add your own logo in, pop it through, and send it into Element 3D without having to do all this Cinema 4D stuff. But if you'd like to know how to do it in Cinema 4D, this is how you do it. You go ahead and you make a plane. And then just like in the cloth tutorial, the segments are going to be the definitions. So for now we'll keep it low so we can render, but then we'll turn it up for the actual render. And then we're going to add a collision tag to the plane, and then go into the settings. We're just going to copy these settings from the other Goo Plane, so 10, 22, 2, 15, 10, 22, 2, 15, stiffness of 4 or 5%. See, everything else at 99%. So we'll set it to collider. Set their store shape to 99. Right click that and show in separate window. You can open this larger and see what I've done here. Is I've made this wave so it goes way down, way up, a little down, a little up, and that's what creates the little wave when the logo pops through. Just press Control to add a new dot. Alright, close enough. We can just mess with it later if we need to. And then we'll go ahead and add a smooth tag. Make sure the collision is on top of the smoothing. And just click initialize. And then what's actually going to animate that wave is these two keyframes here. So we'll set this. So we had it 19.5%. I'll go to last frame. That scared me. Keyframe them at that 15 and 5, then go to the end. And then keyframe them forward to 990, 40 something percent. Alright, we'll go to inside stretch. Hopefully that's the way it will work. And then in the colliders, drag your logo into the collider so that it collides with the plane. Now we're going to animate the logo. And now it pops through the surface, but it doesn't look like goo because the definition is so low. So if we go in the plane and turn these segments up to something really high, it will render more like goo. So this is going to take a minute to render. You might just have to sit back a minute while it renders. Just that one frame takes so long.
A few moments later.
And there we go, it looks like goo. And that's pretty much the Cinema 4D part of this tutorial. So one thing we'll do is add a yellow tag or a yellow material to the logo. And then we'll make this plane red so that we can tell the difference between them in Element 3D. Gonna go ahead and crank up the segments to 300 and render it. And then select the whole group and select script or plugins, steady bake. Find the place you wanted to save it in, click OK, click File Series, click all the checks, click OK. And it's going to take a very long time to render this as a baked animation, so just be patient and go play some video games or something while it renders.
One eternity later.
Alright, and then once we get into Element 3D, we'll go to File, Import, 3D Sequence, not Object, Sequence. And then for the sake of the tutorial, I had one already rendered out from earlier. So this isn't actually from the tutorial, but it's close enough. This is using the Goo template, however, so if you download the Goo template, you will get this return. So now if we scrub through, we can see the animations there. Go down to that yellow mat we made. At the very bottom, turn it to just opacity 0, and that will just make it disappear. And then the best one I found for goo was under translucent and Pro Shaders 1 actually. It was Secret Ooze. I can't remember if it was the reflection or I think it's refraction. Nope, maybe reflection. Also no, but that looks a little bit cooler. That yellow. Maybe illumination, yes. So illumination changes the large amount of colors. I want to make this like a orangey ooze. It's got that red hue to it from the refraction. And there we go. And then if you want more texture, just click on it and UV repeat. So make a camera and a null object, make the null object 3D, parent the null to the camera. Alright, and then because Element 3D doesn't detect motion blur, we'll just well, it doesn't detect motion blur for baked animations, I should say. It detects motion blur for motion inside of Element 3D, but there's no motion since it's a baked animation. So we'll make an adjustment layer. And then you do pixel blur and CC force motion blur after pixel blur. And you can hardly see, but the waves have some motion blur to them now. Light up your scene and make sure you turn ambient occlusion and shadows on as always.
3 hours later.
Can you move it along? I'm all out of time card.
And there we go. When you're happy with your settings, give it a render and you'll be done. Thanks for watching this tutorial, guys. If you liked it, please give me a like. If you disliked it, please give me a dislike. If you'd like to subscribe, please subscribe. Thanks to everyone that's been subscribing, and stay tuned for more.
3:28 a.m.
So if you're still watching this tutorial, there's one last thing I want to talk about, is the disk cache and why I might be rendering slightly faster than you. But anyways, what you need to do with your disk cache inside of After Effects is go to File and go to Preferences and go to Media and Disk Cache. Choose a folder for it and make it a drive that is not your main drive. So for instance, C is my main drive. It should be on every computer, should be your main drive, should be C, but you also might have different partitions. So if you're like loading up into a different drive, you might be loading up into your F drive or your G drive or whatever. Anyways, make it a drive that is not your main drive, and also make it your fastest drive. So like these two drives are really old hard drives, so I'm not going to put it on them since they're really old, they're really slow, they're bound to crash and burn at any point. So I put it on my external hard drive since it's a USB 3.0 and has a fast upload, download, you know what I mean, speed. And yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. If you put your disk cache in on its own drive, it's going to render faster because I'm not an IT person, but this disk here, I can show you. This C disk is constantly being used, as to where this G disk is not being used at all and only starts being used when we open a project and start editing it inside of After Effects. Then the G drive starts writing the disk cache previewed frames over there. So yeah, if it's not on the main drive, you're going to save yourself a bit of rendering speed by making it any other drive, preferably your fastest other drive, or even better if you have a second solid state drive, that would be the best option. Anyways, thanks for watching, guys.